Yeah, sorry. I just thought it was there now.
Oh, a message.
What else?
Okay, well,
Air coming down. Y'all feel it?
it's so cheap. Yeah. Yep, working. Since this is on your phone. Ready? Ready? Out of order. Now, Sylva Board of Commissioners meeting. Thursday, the 14th. First thing on the agenda is to approve the agenda. I entertain a motion to do that. Motion, we have any discussion? Favor raise your hand, side. Opposed by like sign, motion carries. I'd also entertain a motion that we approve the consent agenda. Have a motion, we have any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, side. Opposed by like sign, the motion carries. We have several people signed up public comment. And just for all the information for people who have never been here before. Public comment time is intended time for the public to address the council. It's not for the council to respond in any way. We keep things as professional as possible. Not use profanity if any way can be helped, and we'll start with Garrett Craig. Somebody needs to bring the podium in here.
It's in use right now. They'll just have to stand right over there.
Okay.
It's mine to the ceiling,
So I stand over here. Okay.
you'll state your name, please, and I have time.
Sure. Hi, my name is Garrett Craig. Sorry? You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Got you. Hi, my name is Garrett Craig and I live in Sylva. We've already done this. When pink triple K signs went up years ago, we tried public pressure. Clapsaddles did not care. Feigning ignorance and relishing controversy, Cole eventually rolled over, but only on advice from his friend, Mayor Phillips. Now Cole has made his choice clearly, this time with full knowledge of the damage inflicted to his tenants and neighbors. Having asked nicely before, I think Mr. Phillips should take the new signs personally. Absent his help, this community may have to find more serious ways to exert pressure. The dog whistle effect here is obvious to everyone, whether the Clapsaddles admit it or not is irrelevant. It matters what words and imagery greet visitors to our town. Sylva depends on tourism, students, young families, travelers, entrepreneurs, and people seeking a community that's unique and full of character. Those people care about inclusivity, and cutesy signals to the lingering KKK and its sympathizers, besides being disgusting, will actively repel the folks our community relies on. Students have choices, so do tourists and locals, and as people shine a light on the Clapsaddles as landlords, I expect their tenants to notice. I hope their tenants act. Symbols don't just reflect values, but attract them. These signs send a message that if you believe in hate, you're welcome here. Maybe it sounds abstract, but to minorities in a small town, it can get real fast. I speak just for myself here, but while the signs remain, I cannot patronize any business that appears comfortable with that message, and I won't put money in Cole's pocket. As 107 rebuilds, who will shape the identity of Sylva? Wealthy developers, curiously talented at snatching up land and using it to toy with hateful ideology, or people who have spent decades working to create a place where belonging is central. I don't trust the Clapsaddles to preserve that sense of belonging with the power they've accumulated. Their history as disgraced Bear Park owners, refusal to compromise despite hurting their neighbors, and now a decision to double down, endangering the small businesses all but forced to rent from them. Cole likes repetition, and the pattern is clear. Only one man's wallet matters. Developments should not bulldoze community values. He's already ensnared around 20 businesses with more still to be filled. So before it's too late, it's time for accountability. To this board, pass a resolution condemning racist dog whistles in public space. To the public, make noise, make sure they and their tenants understand your values. To the tenants, speak truth to your landlord, distance your business from this brand. You have more power than you realize. And to the clap saddles themselves, you're on record that Sylva has been good to you. Start being good to Sylva.
Fifth time.
My name is Becca Capitone and I live in Sylva. I'm here also to talk about the KKK messaging that the clap saddles seem determined to promote in our town. This messaging is no longer temporary or theoretical issue for Sylva. In the last few weeks, they have installed 2 new permanent signs hinting at their fond affinity for the Ku Klux Klan. We have every reason to believe that they intend to install them on every one of their properties, the majority of which are along our main 107 corridor. After the highway project was approved, many longstanding properties were forced out and scooped up by the clap saddles. This, combined with their obvious racist affinities, has drawn keen scrutiny from many members of the community. I understand that Cole grew up here and has friends in high places. So to you all, I would ask that you explore to some degree what connections may have enabled such rapid expansion of the clap saddle empire. Who does he know? To call their signage a dog whistle, I think, is giving them way too much credit. These business owners know exactly what they're doing. Their last name is spelled clap saddle with a C, and they could have just as easily called it clap saddle curve or clap saddle country. But instead, they went the whole mile to ensure that, to manufacture this KKK acronym, using egregious misspelling. My son is 8 years old, and he was able to tell me which one was the smarter choice as a business. It's perfectly clear what they're saying with these signs. It's saying people of color are not welcome here. It's a thinly veiled threat of racial violence and white supremacy. So for the rest of this time, and I don't know how much I have, this is my first time doing this, I'd like to just take the rest of my time to publicly shame these folks because I think they're a little bit low on shame. Let's start with the bear park that the clap saddles previously owned in Cherokee, where their staff were recorded and published on a YouTube video calling the Cherokee people corn-eating N-words. The same video depicts their staff bragging about how they would periodically shoot and eat bears from this park. After the expose, the clap saddles were fined and the zoo was shut down, but this is the level of depravity and racism that they bring to their business ventures. And now they're here. The KKK imagery they've embedded in our beloved town is proof that they continue to believe they're untouchable. They are sneering at us. Thank you.
Next is Stacy Lowen.
Guys, it feels so nice to talk in front of a board of people that I trust. I appreciate you guys, and thanks for that. I'm also here to talk about the KKK signs that have gone up, and I honestly don't know how else to refer to them. I think that's how they're being referred to in town. When I first saw the signs, I was at Jack the Dipper getting ice cream with my kids, and I was shocked and I was embarrassed. I was shocked because I also remember us being there, and I looked up the Sylva Herald article from a couple of years ago to ensure that I was kind of remembering correctly. And I think what most of us remember is seeing those pink signs around town and then knowing that Johnny took the time to have conversations to get those signs taken down because the perception was negative. And people had obvious feelings about them, and people didn't feel like those signs or that messaging represented who we are as a community. And I think that we all, again, I think when we all saw those pink signs go up, we felt kind of shocked. And when they came down, I think we kind of like felt this sigh of relief. But okay, we are in a place where that kind of messaging or ideology is not going to be tolerated or perceived. And I think regardless at this point, I think there was a lot happening in that first article where the clap saddle said they didn't intend for it to come up. And I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I feel like unfortunately, this feels almost like a doubling down, and it feels almost like them going back on their word to Jackson County or to the town of Sylva and to the people and to the community. And I would, if I was on this board, I would feel sad about that. Like I would be upset. I think it feels like a slap in the face to kind of all of us. And I don't think, like people have already expressed, I don't think that's an expression of our values. I also feel concerned about people coming into this town. I think this, for a small mountain town, is a diverse town that is loving and accepting and takes care of people. And I do get concerned about who's coming in and who's seeing that. And I think I think about tourism, I think about economy, I think about Western, I think about the money that's coming in and the money that could stop, because I think it puts people in this weird place. There's already talk of boycotting those businesses, which I think hurts local business. It hurts employees, right? I think there's a lot of economic downfall from this, or potential for it, on top of all of the other, right? All the feelings that we have. There's something else here.
Hey, Brad Talk.
Hello, my name is Brad Tolley. This is my wife, Pamela Tolley. Pamela actually wanted to speak out this evening, and I did. She wanted to speak out in favor of Mr. Clapsaddle. The reason I'm speaking instead of her, unfortunately, she feels threatened by those who are so intolerant. Let me just share why she wanted to speak this evening. Approximately 20 years ago, this man assisted her in starting a business when no one else would. His family assisted when no one else would. Assisted her. She rented from him for 10 years. He assisted her in buying her first property. Unfortunately, I would bring up to the board, where was this outrage when Kelsey, Chris Mart, and Country Cover, KKK, was right up there for the world to see. It was there all your life, Brad. Chris Mart, Kelsey, Country Covered, spelled with a K. Now, before I'm accused of being a skinhead, I just want people to know I'm simply follically challenged. I didn't choose to be bald, but we did choose to be here this evening. I think it is embarrassing that anybody is in here wasting time. And once again, I'm here to support my wife because she wanted to be here. As a female, as a minority, she wanted to speak out the assistance that this family has provided. I will share another story. One of our long-term employees, graduate from Western Carolina University, a Black minority, one of our best employees. Mr. Clapsaddle wrote that young gentleman a letter of recommendation to help him get hired on with a company called D.H. Griffin, one of the largest demolition companies in the U.S. Mr. Clapsaddle took the time to write that letter for him. When you ride down the road, be upset at Twassa. Twassa has got generators out here that says KKK. You don't believe me? View them as you leave. It says Kohler, 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 right down the side of their generators. This level of insanity is very disappointing. I apologize to you folks that you're having to waste your time on it. We felt the necessity to stand up and say, look, do we not have better things? The billboards themselves, my children or anyone else, we don't have children, but if you're riding by and selectively picking out letters, they're all the same size. There's no differentiation. The gentleman was born with the name Cole. His wife was born with the name Kim. And once again, it's no different than the acceptance that this community had for Country Covered up here. Pretty sure country spelled with a C and not a K. Once again, I want to thank you for the time of allowing us to speak simply because she wanted to be here. But once again, I'm speaking because she has a fear of retaliation from those who run in talk. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Henry.
I agree with Emmy.
Em?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name's Emmy. I'm a local resident. I feel like this matter is really simple. There's no two ways to interpret KKK. There's no two meanings to that acronym. There are no two reasons why somebody would double down on insisting upon having that acronym on their name of business. To say absolutely nothing of somebody's character, if they wrote a letter of recommendation or they're a good employer, that's not what we're talking about tonight. It's very obvious that the clap saddle spelled with a C, initially claimed ignorance. They didn't mean to, they didn't realize, blah, blah, blah. This has been now pointed out to them. There's been articles. We've talked about this already. It's a waste of everyone's time. I do agree because it's so simple to change one letter and then we're good. Their names do not all start with K, nor do corner or curve or commerce. I was upset about CalSave personally. I always got the ick from that entire complex, and now I understand why. That was part of this to begin with. So there's really, again, only one reason you would double down, and any sane, rational business owner would not be this determined to continue to have the letters KKK. There is no good reason for it. I would love to hear their rationale since the ignorance has been addressed and they now understand what they're doing. It's not funny, it's hateful, it's vile, it's embarrassing, it's hate speech. It absolutely puts a stain on our community. It makes locals uncomfortable. I absolutely think it's going to make tourists uncomfortable, on which our economy totally relies, to Casey's point. I think he thinks this is some sort of funny joke. He's made comments to that end. So I don't think he'll find it so funny when we all are forced to boycott the businesses, which I would like not to have to do. Again, this puts a stain on the town, and it's pretty obvious the right thing to do is just to change one of the letters. They could be CCK, CKC, KCK, KKC. It doesn't matter. It's pretty easy. Their names start with C, as do corner, curve, commerce, and all the other words they're misspelling. Here are just a few comments I found on the Reddit page for this, which yes, exists when you Google Sylva now, because people have noticed this for years. Somebody said, glad I found this thread. I too feel a little unsettled by the obvious dog whistle. This has a terrible vibe around it. I fully believe this is the way of saying they're friendly with the KKK without saying it directly. It's so upsetting seeing all the signs put up. Sylva is starting to not feel like Sylva anymore. Somebody else said, I know it makes me sad. I loved the atmosphere in the town so much that I relocated to the area after graduating from Western. I'm now starting to wonder if it's time to relocate again. Somebody else, I'm really bothered about these signs. This is not the impression I want to give about my community, regardless of whether or not they thought it would be cute, okay, or didn't mean to have any intention. There's no way they don't know what message is being conveyed to residents and travelers. I think it's just obvious. They're not going to do the right thing. You guys are going to have to make them. Thank you.
Last, if I pronounce this correctly. Nif.
Hi, I'm Nilofer Couture, and I'd like to make a comment regarding the signage as well. As a resident of Jackson County, I live in Halloween and a member of the Common Ground, Western North Carolina. I'd like to make a statement on this. The presence of signs depicting KKK imagery or messaging is harmful to our town and sends a message of exclusion, fear, and intolerance. As an Asian immigrant, I find these signs deeply reprehensible and upsetting. Symbols and slogans associated with racism and hate are not harmless expressions. They are racist dog whistles that make people feel unsafe and unwelcome in their own community. Our town should stand for respect, dignity, and inclusion of everyone, regardless of race or background. At a time when divisive or divisive rhetoric and discrimination are already becoming more visible in the national discourse. We should be especially committed to rejecting racism in all forms and making it clear that hate has no place over here. Thank you.
Well, that concludes the public speaking. Thank you all for your time and your things that you care about. So, we'll move us on to the next thing on the agenda is reports. Start with mayor's report. I don't have anything to report today. Move on to commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're in May, you guys, and just wanted to give a congratulations to all the Jackson County graduates and soon-to-be graduates, those in our elementary schools and Snake Mountain High School and SCC and those at Western Carolina University. Done a lot of hard work and want to congratulate them. And on the flip side of that, I also want to thank not only the educators in Jackson County, but the staff for everything they do to support our students. Daisy, my daughter, just finished EOGs, and I know there's other parents around who just finished EOGs and the stress that comes along with that. I just wanted to congratulate those students, but also those big thank you to those educators and their staff for that support into another school year here in Jackson County. All I have.
Thanks, sir. Brett?
Yeah, I wanted to just give a quick update on the library system. The commissioners appear to be staying the course of leaving the Montana Regional Library system. The board that I serve on, the Jackson County Library Board, appears that it will not exist in its current form. There have been some new forms discussed for it, none of which that I've heard have included the town having an appointment to that board. So that's just an FYI, but the larger emphasis would be, and I appreciate the opportunity to say this with so many people in the room, and I appreciate all of you being here. Please volunteer for boards to serve in your community. We've seen demonstrated pretty clearly here in the last couple of years that they have more of an impact than I think a lot of people realized. And without good people on those boards who, for example, want to take care of a library system, there's peril. And so we need people in the community to step up and serve on boards and represent your community. So I encourage y'all to do that when you have an opportunity. That's it.
Well, I may have been mistaken, but I thought I read a little piece in the paper that regular benches down Sylva would have an appointment to that board.
It's definitely not been.
Someone from the town, from Sylva.
That's correct, but that would be different than an appointment.
Maybe.
Historically, we have appointed, that's how I'm on the board, so.
And I'll be an advocate for try to maintain an appointment for that board.
Right, that's the little
It
difference.
should be a current board. My opinion.
That's not,
If the county commissioner gets to appoint board members, then I think we should. And it's, we are the county seat and it's in the county seat. My opinion. Yep, we go.
Just want to, I guess, recognize and congratulate Amy Summer on becoming chief and been doing a lot of, I guess, reading most recently, and sounds like you're doing a lot of work. Looks like you're doing a lot of work out there and keep us safe, particularly a lot of the buses that are going across. So congratulations. I apologize for not making it to the swearing in.
I just add in when I want to here and there. So I noticed lots of things going on with the police department too. Thank you very much. I'm seeing good people, policemen walking on Main Street. I'm seeing them walking around neighborhoods. I'm seeing all kinds of good things. Kudos. Also, Blitz, I caught up with work and traffic, and that's a big excuse for our meeting and next Friday.
Right, so I was able to attend a golf tournament fundraiser for Hawthorne Heights a couple weeks ago. And I really enjoyed being there and seeing everybody come together, especially all the people who came out for it as well. not just the employees who were making it happen. And we were able to raise record numbers for Hawthorne Heights itself, for their students and the youth and the community. I would urge anybody, if you have time, you can go to the Hawthorne Heights website. You can find ways to volunteer, to maybe assist if you're interested. But I was glad to be a part of that. It was a really good time. And also, like Sam, I want to congratulate all the students who are graduating or who did just graduate last weekend, and all the students who are graduating at SEC this coming weekend. And I wish them the best on their future endeavors.
Thank you, sir. Okay, moves us on to new business. And first thing, I'm sorry, measures report, I'm sorry.
Good evening. So a few employment updates in the police department. Malia Mathis has been promoted from sergeant to lieutenant. Malia's worked for the town since 2019. Brianna Foster has been promoted to sergeant from officer. Brianna's worked for the town since November of 2023. And then Officer Brittany McLean is taking a promotion with the sheriff's department to become an investigator. And her last day was yesterday. So we're excited for all of these promotions. We are currently hiring 2 patrol officers. For the Scotts Creek Wall update, we had our bi-weekly meeting with the engineers on Tuesday. The next step will be the 90% wall design followed by permitting. And we're still in our FEMA window for the environmental review. Petite Park's permanent sink should be installed by the end of the month. The town and Equinox have a closeout meeting for the trail next week for the recreational trail program at Pinnacle Park. The next step will be the RFP for the Cardiff grant. Last week, we had a site visit with Nick Adams, the engineer who will develop the PER for the Ritz drainage system. And employee open enrollment for supplemental insurance was held on Tuesday, and the wellness fair is in the works for early June. That's all I have today.
Thank you. If I get this right, we move on to new business. Formal presentation of the 2026-27 budget.
Yes, thank you. So I have budget copies for you all. I sent you an email today that has an electronic version, and we'll get this posted on our website. Statutes require this goes to the board in a regular meeting as a formal presentation. I'm going to hit some of the highlights of it, but if this is similar to the draft you saw at the April morning meeting. But so the proposed budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026 and ending June 30th, 2027 has been prepared in accordance with the North Carolina Fiscal Control Act as required by North Carolina General Statute 59-11. The proposed budget is prepared without a tax increase. It's balanced with a tax rate of 45 cents per $100 evaluation. 1 cent on Sylva's tax rate generates $64,712.84, including ad valorem and motor vehicle values. In the proposed upcoming budget, the value of the penny will increase to $65,074. The proposed general fund budget totals $8,584,349. This includes grants and other proceeds. It's a 13% increase from the original fiscal year 25-26 budget. While operating expenses have increased in all departments, this increase is attributed to large capital purchases, including 2 commercial pumper trucks and an administrative vehicle for the fire department, a knuckle boom truck, a salt spreader, a trailer for public works, 2 vehicles, a drone for the police department, the implementation of the salary study plan completed in March. Capital purchases accounted for most of the increases in the general fund budget because there was an overall general government expenditure decrease of just about 1%. So the general government budget totals $5.2 million. This proposed budget maintains our capital replacement schedule. The town board recognizes that employees are the organization's strongest asset and are essential to providing high-quality services to citizens. Salary study was completed and proposed a payroll increase of 7.9% to remain competitive in the surrounding market. The proposed budget includes this increase plus a 3% cost of living adjustment for all employees. Salary studies are conducted between every 4 and 7 years. This budget provides essential services, invests in community and environmental resilience, makes strategic investments in infrastructure, and maintains our commitment to fiscal responsibility. Priorities that are funded in this budget include the knuckle boom truck, $252,500, $22,000 salt spreader, a $5,000 trailer, and the proposed budget transfers from capital reserves for these large equipment purchases. Police department will replace 2 vehicles to keep up with their replacement schedule. They're on an 8-year rotation. Fire department ordered a commercial pumper truck totaling $566,150 in 24-25, but it will be delivered in 26. And the second pumper truck, which was $544,800, was ordered in fiscal year 25-26 and will be delivered in 2027. That's an interfund loan of $200,000 that will be repaid to the town. The budget's been reduced to meet imperative needs and utilize our revenues in the most fiscally responsible manner. But reductions have been made in capital, equipment, and other expenditures wherever possible. Long-term priorities for the town must be delayed until funds are available. Some of those were outlined by the board in the January planning work session and include an additional detective position, a part-time clerk, and downtown officer for the police department, hazard abatement, paving the parking lot at the pool, trails at Black Rock Creek, landscaping beautification, and town hall improvements. Future concerns. The Highway 107 road construction project has started with overhead utility relocation, and construction is expected to take between 4 and 5 years. Many displaced businesses were able to relocate within city limits or Jackson County, but there's less commercial property as a result. The commercial corridor will eventually redevelop, but it will likely be after construction is completed. Sales tax revenue will be negatively affected during the construction project, as a majority of the project area covers the primary commercial corridor. The degree of sales tax impact is unknown, therefore it's imperative for the town to budget conservatively during future budget cycles. Our Scotts Creek stabilization, we have our $1.4 million public assistance grant submitted to FEMA to repair the damage. It's uncertain how much FEMA will reimburse or when we'll receive it. It's taken multiple years for local governments to receive federal reimbursements for past disasters, so the town needs adequate funding to cover the cost of the project and to cover the time and the lag time in between when we would receive the reimbursement. Other areas highlighted are capital improvements, a potential tax collection rate impact. Those are outlined in more detail. And then also paving costs. I've listed the grant and capital project ordinances in their total amounts. The draft budget, you saw them and what was remaining to be expended, but this is the total amount of the projects. The general fund budget again is $8,584,349 with the addition of anticipated grants and other proceeds. We are appropriating $287,500 from capital reserves to fund the knuckle boom truck, drone, salt spreader, and trailer. That will leave over $1.2 million remaining in capital reserves. That's necessary for upcoming needs and costs, especially for a public works large vehicle like the garbage truck or the knuckle boom truck, is around 40% more than it was 5 years ago. So as costs increase, we need to be putting money in capital reserves to cover them. So as of June 30th, 2025, Sylva's unassigned fund balance, including subsequent year appropriations, totaled $5,356,090. Currently is at 67%. The proposed budget rolls over $1.1 million for the fire department fund balance for those two trucks. That would reduce it to 46.45%. But if you omit those trucks out of it, it remains at 68% with the proposed adoption of the budget. This would adhere to the fund balance financial policy to not fall below 40%. And it meets our targeted unassigned fund balance goal of 68% and in the general operating budget. So staff have presented you with a balanced budget that maintains our existing high level of quality services necessary to meet the board's vision and the town of Sylva's mission. In preparation of this budget, the preparation of this budget report would not have been possible without the dedicated efforts of the town of Sylva employees and the support of members of the Sylva Town Board of Commissioners. Thank you. So as you go through this, you've got, again, the budget message in more detail gives you this overall summary of the big things that are included. The budget ordinance that would be passed. So we have our public hearing May the 28th at 5:30, which is that's a morning meeting date, but a 5:30 time that'll only have the public hearing on the agenda. The ordinance will be adopted June the 11th. The ordinance is included in this. And you've got the fee schedule that's proposed and the summary sheet with the line item expenditures for both revenues and expenditures behind it. So as you look through it, feel free to let us know if you have questions. That's all I have for the presentation.
This formal presentation of the budget does not require a motion and vote today, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. So the next thing on the agenda is an appointment for the chairman of the ABC board. I feel like I should explain this just a little bit. ABC board is made up of 5 members, 3 appointed by the county, 2 appointed by the town. It's agreed upon that the chairman would be chosen from those 5 people and has to be a joint appointment by the town and the county. We do this every year. And so there can't be any other applicants for it. It has to be one of the setting board, which I'm one of. David Nolan has been the chairman for several years. We have a letter from the ABC board that all members have signed recommending David be reappointed as chairman of the ABC board for an additional year. And I would entertain a motion that we do that. Have a motion. Have any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. All opposed, by like sign, motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Nolan.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next thing on the agenda is the MOU Municipality Fire Service District. I think Paige is going to explain that a little bit.
Yeah. So this is for fire and EMS services. Jackson County is creating a service district. The MOU is being approved by each municipality. The county would lower the tax rate by the amount of this tax. And then it's roughly split equally between fire and EMS services. From Sylva's standpoint, it helps us know that we're not losing funding in while the agreement is in effect. If the fire departments need additional funding, they would need to make the request to the county and or municipalities for a tax increase. But this agreement would reserve the funding for both fire and EMS throughout the county and would remain in effect through June 30th, 2030.
Need a motion to go for that?
Yes.
Entertain a motion, we approve the MOU Municipality Fire Service District. Have a motion, do we have any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. All opposed, by like sign, the motion carries. And the last thing is I entertain a motion that we cancel the June 25th, 2026 general board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, do we have any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
And at this point in time, I would entertain a motion that we pursuant to GS 143-318 2A and 5, go into a closed session about contract negotiations.
11A5.
11. I'm sorry. We have a motion. Do we have any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. All opposed, by like sign, the motion carries. And at this time, we will go into closed session and ask everyone, not on the town board or town employee to excuse it.